Hey everyone, Eddie here. Welcome to I guess you call it my workbench. Yep, this is my workroom. This is where I keep my workbench. This is where I do all my wiring and soldering and everything and fixing issues. But today I wanted to show you what I got going on, and today our topic will be about ceremony systems. Here, as you can see, I have a very compact ceremony system. This system, I am running an iPad. I am running the Everse 8 and the dual Sennheiser, EWDX series line of dual microphone receivers. They also sell a quad line where you can get 4 microphones, but it's not going to be in a half rack size. It'll be in a full rack size. So it'll be twice the width of this. So you can get 4 microphones out of that one. Now, there are other solutions you can use for microphones. You don't have to get a dual unit. These units can be a little pricey. They run about $2,500 with a handheld and body pack. And as you can see, handheld and loud. So with that being said, you could get 2 of the EWD series, and the D series and DX series allows you to use the Sennheiser app on the iPad, which I find very, very, very convenient. So you could save about $1,000 if you get 2 receivers, and you purchase the EWD series, where you get one that's a handheld and one that's a lavalier. And then if you want to, I would buy a 3rd receiver where you can use that receiver for your main DJ system, and then you can just interchange your handheld as long as you get the same frequency spectrum. And that's what I kind of do here. I use the same handheld on my other system there, so on my actual DJ reception system. So I'm able to take that handheld, to use it for a reader as well as use it at the reception. But to get back in here, as you can see, I made this little wire harness system here. This is my little snake. I color coded the XLR cables, or purchased color coded XLR cables. And as you see, this is input 1, input 2. So red is 1, blue is 2. And of course I have the DC output. That's why I went with the Everse speaker, because it allows me DC power output at 12 volts to be able to power microphone receivers. Now, this one line will power 2 receivers. So if you wanted to save money and do the 2 receiver thing, you could do that, and you just need a splitter to split from out of here to into the 2 receivers. So just remember that. Also know, if you're using Sennheiser with the Everse, this is an optional shelf, and this shelf comes with a DC power cable, but that cable does not work with Sennheiser receivers. So just keep that in mind. That cable will not work with Sennheiser receivers, because the inner part, this is the cable right here. Oh, that's a Y cable. This part right here that goes into the this one right here. It's marked by this white label. This one that goes in a Sennheiser, the inner dimensions is 2.1. The outer dimensions is 5.5 millimeters. But again, the inner dimension is 2.1 millimeters, where the end that comes out of the Everse is 5.5 millimeters outer dimension, but the inner dimension right there, the center part, as you can see, is 2.5 millimeters, not 2.1, it's 2.5. So that output that comes out here is 2.5 millimeters. So 2.1 won't fit it. So you have to get this conversion cord. You could buy a 2-pack at Amazon for $8. They're 18 gauge. That's really thick. That's really good. 18 gauge is great. And for $8, I mean, you could buy, you can make 2 orders, and then you have the others just sitting in the back, just in case one of these fail. Just swap it out with a new one and throw the old one away. So, with that being said, once again, I am using the iPad system. The Everse comes with an app. I believe it is called, excuse me guys, it is called the Quick Smart app. So I'm using DJ and Quick Smart app by Evie, and this is the Smart Assist app for the EWD and DX series receivers and transmitters by Sennheiser. That's just my settings. And then of course I have music. Right now I've been using music to play my ceremony seating, and then I switch to DJ. But let's first talk about the mixer here. As you can see, you have a split screen option that you can utilize here with the iPad. You first pull up the one app, you hit these three dots, it'll give you a drop down that will allow you to split the screen, and then it'll allow you to choose the second program. So bang, that was my second program. It seems to integrate very well, and as you can see here, I got my whole mixer set up. I got the main speaker system here. I can mute it, unmute it, I can adjust the volume. I usually always set the main at 0. Then I go back to mixer mode, and then I'm able to adjust input 1, which is for the microphone, handheld microphone here. Test, 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 as you can tell. I can adjust the treble, bass, treble, mid, and bass, because it has EQing. I also have compression, ducking, and effects. I can add effects here. So let's say this is your reader mic. The handheld is mostly always used for readers. But let's say if they have a singer, you can always add effects. So what you do, you go to your main mixer, go to effects. You can go scroll to giving yourself some echo and reverb. They give you different settings for that, also for where you're at. And then you go back to mixer, you go back to the input that you wanted the effects on, you activate the effects, and then you implement that effects by whatever setting you think is appropriate for that performer. So that's a really cool feature. I usually use a Prime Go instead of using the iPad, but the Prime Go, it offers me these same effects, but the only thing it doesn't offer me, actually it doesn't offer me ducking or compression, I don't believe, and it also doesn't offer me EQing, 3-band EQing. So this is what makes this system really cool. Now, I have it Bluetooth, and so far it's working well. But I have to turn everything on in sequence to make this operate properly. If I activate the Sennheiser app before activating the music apps, for some reason there's a conflict with the programs and I don't get any sound out of the speaker even though I'm connected Bluetooth. So what I've learned is I have to activate the music apps first. First I have to open up the settings and then connect to the Bluetooth. Once I can hit connection to this speaker from the Bluetooth, then I activate the music apps first to make sure they're playing. Then I go into the Everse app, activate that to make sure all my mixer settings are straight. And then I have control of the music. And then I activate the Evie Smart Assist app. And then I'm able to control everything as far as with the mics. I'm able to control the frequency scanning, and I'm able to do auto scans, and then I'm able to sync the transmitters to the receivers through the app. That way I can keep the speaker high and without ever having to actually physically go in front of the receiver and scroll through that menu. So I just want to show you this real quick. This is really cool. I got control of frequency scans as well as connecting my transmitters to my receiver, and that's what makes that Everse digital series so nice. Now, like I said, you have different channels. This one's on mute. This is my lavalier mic. You can adjust all the EQing. I think I'm just repeating myself here. One thing I do want to let you know is when you're doing frequency scans, don't do a frequency scan to an empty room and think you're set. That is an illusion. Just know that. Remember, wireless is never guaranteed. Just know that. But there are steps you could take to mitigate wireless interruptions and mitigate drops and any other type of interferences. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Half-wave antennas are far better than quarter-wave antennas. So just remember that. Full-wave antenna would be a lot better than the half-wave antennas. But so far, these have been great. No issues at all. I have had no issues using these. Line of sight is another deterrent that will help mitigate any issues. So I can get the speaker up high. I get line of sight with these antennas towards my target, which is the Efficient, and the reader mic. Also, understand that human bodies are your enemy when it comes to interference. The body is made up of water, so it's really water that's your enemy when it comes to radio frequencies. So water, line of sight, as well as cell phone signals are your three main things you got to worry about when it comes to frequencies. So remember, don't just rely on doing one frequency scan to an empty area or empty room. This also applies for the microphone at the reception. What you want to do is make sure you got great line of sight. You do your frequency scans when you got 60 to 75% of the guests seated or in the area. So if they're, you want to make sure they're pretty much blocking you and where the ceremony is going to be performed. You want to make sure you got about 60 to 75% of the guests there before you do your frequency scans that you can rely on. You do your frequency scans. That will, while people are there, that will help you mitigate any interruptions and drops. So don't mic the Efficient till about 10 minutes prior to the start of your ceremony. Same thing with that handheld mic. Do your frequencies, 10 minutes frequency scans, and program those in, get them set 10 minutes before you start your ceremony. All right. And also, half-wave antennas will be your best friend. And what else was there? Line of sight. So just remember those three: line of sight, bigger antennas, and frequency scans done when people are in the area. All right. So just remember those. All right. If you have any questions about this, hit me up. I'll be glad to answer them for you. Eddie out. Mahal.